Hey, welcome to my video. This is Rachel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my life. This is Rachel over at Moonlight Library. I am here today for my April monthly wrap-up of books. I read 14 books, 10 of which were regular word books. 4 of them were graphic novels. So we're going to go through those. I'm going to go through the regular books first and then the graphic novels after. The regular books I'm going to go by length from shortest to longest because might as well spice it up and make it fun. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. If you're not new here, you know what? Welcome back. And I'm so excited to see you. Thank you for joining me. I love you. On we go. We're going to begin with the books. So, I don't know why I'm screaming. So, the first 4 books are short because I just did the Dewey 24-hour readathon. I just put up a reading vlog for that. So, be sure to check it out before, after, during this film. Oh, secondly, if you have read any books that you love in the past month or so, let me know in the comments. I want to add things. I want to bulk up my TBR that is already bulky. So let's get started though. Silver in the Woods. That's by Emily Tesh. This one follows this man of the woods. He is one with the woods, and it's a fantasy book. It's very, very short. And he doesn't really communicate with many people. He's not around many people, but he ends up meeting someone that kind of changes his life for the better. I don't know. But overall, it felt like a dark fairy tale. It was kind of spooky, a little haunting. It felt like we're like with the fae, the dryads. He has a cat. It's cozy but dark at the same time. It is a duology as well. I haven't read the second one yet. I just read this like 2 days ago. So I would want to pick that one up. I ended up giving this 3 stars because I didn't feel like I became close enough with the characters or the story in general. It felt like it played out well, but it's not a book that I think I will sit with forever and look back on this and be like, wow, just the time I spent in the loving hands of Silver in the Wood. It was good. It wasn't life-changing. Next up is The Ballad of Black Tom. I was reading it off my camera. I was like, this is really big. Black Tom. No, Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle or LaValle. I'm not sure. So this one, we're following, his name is not, it's Tommy Tester. And it is a Lovecraftian cosmic horror, which... It's a first for me, I think. I think this is a first for me, reading a cosmic horror. Maybe I've read like one before. I just heard the term recently, which means it's like a horror that is Lovecraftian-esque, like H.P. Lovecraft. And that was exciting. This one's set in 1940s. We're following this man who is... My brain just shut down. Okay, we are following this man... who is, he doesn't have much money. He is kind of like running not counterfeit, like goods for people that are like black market like goods, right? And he gets himself into a situation when he is sitting out on a street corner in Queens, somewhere he shouldn't be. He is a black man, and it's like, if you're not white in Queens at this time, you need to get out, sort of thing. But he meets this man who's like, come play guitar at my party. And there's also this whole cop narrative going on too. And there's a lot of like black magic stuff going. It is crazy. It is a wild book. I feel like I'm describing it so strangely, but overall, I would definitely recommend, especially if you like Stephen King. I feel like this is a book that kind of matches with the Stephen King-esque vibes. Like, not like new Stephen King, but old Stephen King, you know? I gave it 4 stars. All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This one's sci-fi. And I have been wanting to read this one for so long. It's the Murderbot Diaries. So we're following this robot in this sci-fi world where they are a member, not a member, but they're owned by this corporation that rents it out for companies and organizations that are doing planetary things and need like equipment, and like also he's a security bot for like just in case something goes wrong on whatever their operation is. But he has tampered with his governance, like however they control him, so that he can just do what he wants. So he loves watching TV and stuff. It's kind of silly. Like, it doesn't look like it'd be silly, but it is kind of a silly book. It was making me laugh. I was along for the ride. I fell in love with Murderbot. That's what he calls himself, even though he's a security bot or a sec bot. And I cannot wait to read more in this series. I had no clue. It was so much fun. Like, the adventure, there was scary stuff going on. The ending happened a little too fast, but like they could have slowed it down. But overall, I think it was a really exciting book, especially maybe for someone who doesn't read much sci-fi, because I feel like you don't need much to go into it. 4 stars. You've Lost a Lot of Blood. This is my only 5-star actual non-graphic novel. It's so shiny this month. It was amazing. I'm trying to be better about my 5 stars. Like, they have to be like actual top tier. Top tier is 5-star. Like, my brain was like, everything's 5-star for a little bit. Like, I was going a little crazy. This is a horror book. I don't know if it's extreme horror. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It is a compilation of this like serial killer who was killing people along with his lover, and a compilation of his writings, his like kind of diaries, recorded conversations he's had, and the book he was writing. And most of it is the book. Like 80% of this book is the book he was writing. And in that book, it follows this girl and her brother who are going to this man's estate who makes video games very famous, and she's going there to help him finish a video game that has been on the docket for years and everyone's been waiting for it. I loved it. I loved the conversations inside of it. I loved the horror elements were a lot of fun, like very different from anything I've read in a little while. And I think it sparked my love of horror. My spark wasn't out, but it made me more apt to read more horror. And I think this month I will be reading more horror after reading this book. I just had such a fun time. Also, some of the conversations outside of the book, inside of the book, like the Martyr Black stuff, it felt kind of like the conversations from I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Brought up a lot of interesting points, like dialogue that I don't know. I felt like I was like, oh, I'm enlightened. It was fun. It was fun. It felt like Eric LaRocca was writing a conversation of his actual thoughts on things like plagiarism and writing and like stories and stuff like that. Really good. Oh, wait, that was a lie. This one was 5 stars too. I'm opening up and telling you my ratings. Crazy me. So Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaghy. This one follows, I was going to say Charlotte, that's the name of the author. N.T. Flynn is our main character. She has just moved to Scotland and she's working on this project that's going to re-release wolves into Scotland. They don't have any apex predators. And so it's a conversation of how having wolves back in Scotland will create a better environment and make it so that nature can flourish better by sustaining the food chain, that's how it's supposed to go. So, but it's also a conversation of domestic abuse as well, because she has brought her sister with her, and she's also with a research team and stuff, but she's brought her sister with her, and her sister has just gotten out of a very bad relationship, a domestic abuse relationship, and it is frightening. But it's also a mystery book. I didn't expect the mystery element to be in this book. It was beautiful. I cried, I couldn't tell you how many times. The beginning was a little rocky, but once you get past that, I think that the beauty and the lyricism of this book, the nature elements, the like animals, it's superb, sublime. Am I going to remember all my ratings without looking it up? That's crazy. I think I might. This is B.A. Paris's Behind Closed Doors. This is the first book I've read from B.A. Paris. I saw Books and LaValle read it a while ago, and immediately after watching her read it, I was like, I have to buy this now. And so I went and bought it a while ago, and I finally got around to it, and I read it in a day. It's about this woman who is once again in a domestic abuse situation. And that is a theme throughout a lot of these books for some reason. I just feel like I watched a lot of things and read a lot of things that were like, wow, it's scary to be a woman. And this was one of them. It's very straightforward. It's very, I don't know what is a giveaway in this. So it's the fact that they look normal, they appear like they have a normal relationship. Maybe not though. You know, it all opens with this dinner scene where they're with like a group of his friends and stuff. And those women are like, there's something weird going on with you two. You know, like what is this? Because he's like taking her completely outside of her actual life. And now she's with all these new people. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this. It's so hard because it's not there. I feel like there's not a true twist in this one. It's just following the story as it progresses. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Terrifying. I gave that 4 stars. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is another thriller. So this one just came out with a show on Apple TV, and I was like, maybe I read it. And then I did. And everyone's like, loved it so much. It was like winning. Oh, like people were like obsessed with this book whenever it came out, like 2 years ago or something. So I was like, I'm gonna love it. It's this woman, she comes home, or like someone knocks on her door, and she gets a note, and it's from her husband, but it's like this little girl gives it to her, and it says protect her, and it's talking about her stepchild, aka her husband's child, who's about 15. And she's like, what does this mean? And then her husband's not coming home. Turns out his tech company is being investigated for like fraud because their product doesn't even work, but they've already been selling it on the stock markets and stuff. And that's a big no-no. And then she goes on this whole like, where is he? How do I figure this out? What's going on? Like, who is he? Who is he? What's going on? I don't know. I don't know what I just said because my camera cut off. But that's what this book is like. So she goes on this whole quest, and I felt like it wasn't any different from if you read a lot of thrillers. It's okay, you know. It's just it's a story that I feel like I've read before, or a story that I feel like I know that I could know. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine, but it wasn't anything like take my breath away. You know, I wasn't like, what's gonna happen next? So 3 stars. Catherine House. Wow, it has the lowest score on Goodreads basically imaginable. It's like 3 stars. 3.01 stars or something. And it's this book about this girl who has gone through some hard times as she was leaving high school, or like towards her senior year or something. She got mixed up in some bad stuff. Something happened, and she needed somewhere to go. Well, then one of her professors is like, or teachers is like, apply to Catherine House. It's this very elite school that once you get in, you can't communicate with the outside world. You're just stuck in there. Like, this is where you live now. This is everything. You cannot leave. You can't communicate. But everyone that comes out is like a genius now, or like not a genius, but they're well off. They're connected. They're linked in, as you would say if you used LinkedIn. And it was, they deal in this substance called plasm, I think. And it was okay, you know, it was another okay book. I keep saying that, and I don't know why I'm sitting like this, but I'm going to, you know, you can't stop me. It was fine. I didn't really care about any of the characters. Her roommate baby made me want to, you know, just, you know, like I did not care, did not like, did not care for. Overall, I didn't really like any of the characters. It's more of the vibes. This book is vibes. That's what the book is. That's it. It's vibes. And that's it. And, you know, I'm not here to be mean about it, but it's not a fave. I gave it 3 stars. Should it have been 2 stars, though? No, we're leaving it at 3. You know, I had an okay time. I'm really talking down on it. I'm sorry. But it's not a book that I will be contemplating reading again. Why would I even contemplate reading again? That's crazy. Okay, on we go. On ho. Malibu Rising. So I read my first Taylor Jenkins read last month. Now I'm reading my second, or I read my second, and I loved it. I adored it. This one follows the Rivas family, and it's 4 children, and they're all like surfboarders and stuff, and it goes back in time through like their lives and how they end up where they are. But at the same time, it's also following a timeline of one day leading up to this party that Nina Rivas, like the eldest Rivas, has every year. She's like very famous now, but they came from like nothing basically, even though they have a rock star father who basically disowned them. I love the characters. I love the stories. Everyone's story was just as interesting as anyone else's. The current day was just as interesting as the past. Everything was good. Like, it's so well done. I cannot wait to read more Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but it's at my mom's. She's borrowing it. And then my grandma also wants to borrow it. So after that, I'm going to read it. And I'm very excited too, because this one and Daisy Jones and the Six, amazing. And I'm going to read Carrie Soto's back as well. No, I forgot a book. Okay. The last book that I read is They Never Learn. This one follows 2 different perspectives. We have a girl that is in school, or in this college. She's like new freshman, like whatever, you know. She has this roommate who's a junior, which is kind of crazy. And eventually things start going pretty wrong in her life. Like, it starts out all good, but it goes all wrong. And then we're also following another perspective, and she is a serial killer, and she kills men that like sexually abuse and like accost women and just like do horrible things to women. She's a professor there though, and it was good. It was interesting. I you know, for what, like, I don't know if I misunderstood it, but I can't, you know, it's hard to say things about why my score changed from like a 2 to a 4 at a point, which is crazy. Like, it just, like, my entire perspective on the book changed, and I was like, oh, this was actually really good. But trigger warning, if you don't want to read about sexual assault, please do not read this book. Like, this is not the book. This is definitely not the book. Like, this is a book to go in with not, if you don't want that, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't read that. What am I doing? So now it's graphic novel time. Oh my God. So I read the first 3 Lore Olympus. The first 3 Lore Olympus. You can't even see me. I'm just going to hold up the 3rd one. No, whichever one I find cutest. The 3rd one. Oh my God, they're so cute. So this is Hades and Persephone. It is obviously a graphic novel. It is super adorable. Let me find like a really cute scene. It's kind of a romance, definitely a fantasy, Greek mythology, and it is just like so intriguing. It is just so beautifully done and just sad and happy, and it pulls you in. I read up until current on Webtoons because it's all on Webtoons. That's where Rachel Smythe, I think her name's Smythe, last name. Might be Smith, but I feel like it's Smythe. Someone else said Smythe. Anyways, that's where she publishes them, and then they've been getting released in here. So the first 75 issues have been released paperback, whereas they're already up to like 240. I read all of it. I'd read it before too, but I wanted to read it paper, like the actual print copy, and that was really exciting to finally do. So yeah, and I will continue reading it because I'm obsessed. I think there's another issue that just came out on Saturday. I should read that. I didn't even think about it. Oh my God. Last book is Heartstopper Yearbook. This one, not really a book. I mean, it's kind of just Alice Oseman talking about writing Heartstopper, but it also has like tons of like little pictures and like little doodles and tiny comics as well. You can kind of see like her drawings of like Nick and Charlie to begin with and profiles on them and stuff. I love Heartstopper. It's so sweet. I just got Nick and Charlie the book as well, the little book, and I can't wait to read that. I'm going to read that. Maybe I should read it in June for Pride. I should totally read it in June for Pride. I wanted to read it right away, but makes more sense. Makes more sense. If this is the end of the video, so if you got to the end, go ahead and leave me a palm tree emoji because I'm leaning over like I'm going on vacation. That makes sense. Okay. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to like this video. I enjoy being here to give you videos, and I think I'm going to do twice weekly for the foreseeable future because I have time. So why not? I'm going to go read. Actually, I'm going to go to yoga. That was a lie. I'm not going to go read because I need to leave for yoga in like 10 minutes. So, I'm going to work out.